Hey everybody, how's it going? We are just getting set up to do a live stream. This is our brand new streaming setup. If you can hear me, we do have the microphone coming through as well on a headset. So, if you guys can hear me, which I think you should, give a comment or a like. I see some people are tuning in, so we're going to get started. In just a second. And put these gloves up here. Make sure my knockoff station is good. Okay, let's get it started. So I got my preheated pipe. I'm going to kick some more heat into that. Get it nice and toasty. And I'll get my first gather. We're going to be making a wall flutter today. And if you're tuning in, you are the very first people to tune in to our new live stream setup with a mounted microphone, so I should be able to be talking to you direct as we go. And I'm going to get my first gather into the furnace. I was using a block to shape up the fresh glass. This one's made out of walnut. Well, you'll find blocks made of cherry wood or any hardwood as well. And this is just some wet newspaper to shape it up before I introduce a small starter bubble. Cool. So I'll get another gather in just a second, and we'll apply the color. This is going to be a copper blue with a dark lagoon spots, and I believe it is just spotted. Yep. I'm going to get a big second gather here. And start to apply some color. Just layering on some color right now, and we'll melt it in. This chamber is about 2,300 degrees, super duper hot. All right, I got all the color I'm gonna get, and we'll just melt her in. Trying not to have the color twist up too much by turning different directions periodically. Just using the paper to shape it up. Alright, so now I got the blow hose on. We'll get it nice and hot, and we'll start to puff it up at the bench. Alright, got a nice bubble blown, looking pretty good. I'm going to add a small bit of clear glass right on the very bottom of this one. Sometimes when you tap off the punny, it can chip off some of the color, and it's a nice focal point at the bottom of the piece. I don't want that color to chip off of there. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of glass onto the bottom. It's a little tricky on a round blob like this, but I'm going to find the center of it there. Okay, so we got a little bit of glass at the very bottom. And now I'm going to flatten it so it's a little pad that our punty can attach to. I'll just flatten that little button. Center it up as best as I can. I'm going to kick a little heat into the back side of this bubble. It gets pretty cold on the back side, so just reestablish some heat. I'll get a flash and do that one more time. Just ensures that it doesn't get too cold on the back side of the bubble. We kind of neglect working there a lot because we're focused on the bottom. So this is a means to make sure it stays warm and doesn't crack. Okay, so now I'm going to hang it up and create the punty to transfer this. Give it a good deep flash. And I'll create the punty. So this is that connection rod that sticks to the very bottom of a piece. You gotta move quick because it is cooling down. I'm going to give it one more quick flash actually, just to ensure that it's staying warm. And let's attach that onto the bottom. So I'll score it and give it a little tap to have it break off of the blowpipe. And we can start to work on the other side of the piece. That flip around is a super important step of how we create a vessel in glass blowing. And I'm just going to roast the front half of the bubble now. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. We just got our new system installed for live streaming. And we will have amplified narration as well, based off the same device. So we'll have more of these coming in the future. Trimming off a little excess glass in the front there. And a couple more heats here and we'll be ready to spin it open. It's a little thin, so I'm hoping I'm able to spin it out with nothing too crazy happening. So I already see it starting to fold. All right, so I think we're primed to spin it open. Give it a good flash to heat up the whole thing. And just start turning nice and fast. And there we have a wall flutter spun out. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit. Heads up, folks, I'm going to come through to tap this guy off. It's a wall flutter, so one of those that get mounted to the wall. And we'll give it a little tap-a-rooney. Yeah. Throw on the gloves here and put it in the box. All right. Okay. So we got one piece in the box. The first one of the new system. Anybody out there got a little bit of a comment or feedback if things sound good, if they look good? I'm just going to make one more piece. I'm going to make that same one again. That one was blown out a little bit thin. And so I'm going to make sure I keep it a little bit thicker this time. So we do have a design your own wall flutter terminal on our website. If you follow the link that may or may not be in the comments there, you could even go design one of these yourself, which is pretty cool. That looks good. I'm going to put those colors back, and I'm warming up, so I'm going to bring our door up here a little bit. All right. Did it stop? Is it frozen?
So this camera here, you can't see what you're doing when you come over here. You also have a delay.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. Is it still...
Still going.
It is still going on your end. Okay. Well, let's do one more. Can you hear it pretty well? We're checking in with Ben here, who's got... there are people commenting?
No, that's... I have it on text what you're saying.
Oh, cool. So we're going to start another one, get another big gather here. Yeah. So we're working out any kinks. If you guys have any suggestions, you can send us a message.
There's a delay in the stream from when you go from workstation to workstation.
Is the audio not lined up?
Right.
Oh. Well, okay. We can always set a little delay if we need. Once again, thanks to you guys for tuning in here.
See, that's how far off you are. You're just going in, getting more molten glass.
All right, so I'm just adding on some color here, getting it fully coated as best as possible. We'll work some of that stuff out later. Okay, so we'll smooth her all out. And I'll head to the bench and use a block to shape her up. Throwing a blow hose to help me inflate it. All right. We got our bubble blown and our jack line established. We are ready to put on that little button on the bottom. Just gonna let this cool down a little bit so it stops moving around. And I'll put on that bit. So I'm gonna get another gather. This is called casting on. So I'll bring a little drip of glass. Something just like that. Get it back in the heat. I'm gonna flatten that little bit. And kick some heat into the other side. Just establishing an even heat. That side nearest the pipe is kind of shielded from the heat when I go in and get the heat, so it's important to kick some back in. Oh, and I took her rod. What's that?
Right on the bottom there.
Is that bit called a Maurice? It's called a... Oh, that's a good question. You know, I'm not sure exactly what it would be called. Technically, you might be right there, Dan. Typically, I believe, yeah, the Maurice is just a joining bit of glass, so... Yeah, on the island of Kauai. Oh, really? Nice. On Honolulu Bay. Really? Hello. There we have a successful transfer, and I can start working on the other side. I'm going to do a quick look just to make sure it doesn't need to be trimmed. I think we got a pretty clean brake. Yep, that looks pretty good to me. Now we just got to get it hot and start to spin. I'm going to open up some of these doors so I'm not in the danger of tagging. Some people call me Maurice. I believe it's spelled a little different. So here we go. We're getting close to spinning this open. I'm going to do one quick touch again. This blue is really soft, so it really wants to start to open up pretty quick. Okay, and here we go. I'll start to spin faster until it's super fast. Well, there we got another funky wall flutter spun out. Coming right behind you. Yeah, sorry, Julia. I took it. "10 days. Oops, that's not supposed to hit. All right. So there we go. We got 2 funky wall flutters in there. And I think that concludes our trial of our live stream. Our first one. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. And get ready to start seeing a lot more of these coming through. If you, like I said, if you have any suggestions or requests, start sending them through. Stop on down at Canal Park and see us if you live in Duluth. Otherwise, we'll see you again online. Cheers.